333 years old. So it was founded in 1682, and it was a German from the Rhine area in Germany who was granted the property. And in 1692, in the archives in Cape Town, is a receipt of brandy sold to a midwife off the property. Didn't say what she used it for, but I think we know, because I've got a little grandchild who's now 4 months old, and I know exactly what the midwife used the brandy for. For herself, not the baby. So it's got a lot of history, and it's very interesting because the original deed was given to the German fellow, and he had to allow people from Stellenbosch to come and graze their sheep. They were allowed to come and collect firewood. They were allowed to do certain things here. He had to in turn give the Dutch East India Company grain off the property, meat off the property, and also there are a lot of oak trees you'll see around. They had to plant oak trees for repairing the ships that were going to the Dutch East India Company. So there's tons of history. It's been in our family the longest. 1941, my dad bought it, and I took over in 1987, and my son joined me about 3 or 4 years ago. He did winemaking at Adelaide University in Australia. So he's. But to give you an idea, now we're coming up to the end of our harvest. Everything we do here is hand done. Very little machinery, except we are spraying up at the top there. You can see the tractor going through. We come through beginning of during winter. Each vine is pruned by hand. We bring it back down so we cut all the shoots off that you see where the green leaves are. We bring it back to the arm that's on the wire. You'll see the stem coming up in the arm, and we bring it all back, and then we start the process again. And it's a yearly process. So it carries on and on. We then come through by hand, and we have a team of about 80 people. That are the ladies. Ladies work a lot better than the men. The men want to smoke and talk on their cell phone, and whereas the ladies,
There can't be women on cell phone.
So women, and they've been working here for a long time. We've got families on the property that actually don't. We house our permanent staff. All house you. We came past them house on the way in. And there's some families here that, if you said, when did your forefathers move onto the property? They don't know. I grew up with most of them. We played when we were little, so it's a real family property. And we've got a great team. And then we bring in casual labor, but they're not really casual. They work here for maybe 8 or 9 months of the year in the vineyards. And a lot of them have been coming here for 10, 15 years, and they come back. And then they'll do all the vineyard work during the summer, and then also pick the grapes. So we try and keep away from mechanization, so that we can employ as many people as we possibly can to help. Yes, but the quality with the people's there. The machine tends to not differentiate. When you're picking, when you're pruning, you can machine prune, but it's better to prune with people. So they haven't perfected it, and also they become part of the family. They're part of it.
I just wonder, what makes the area good for growing grapes? What's the advantage? Is it the soil? Is it air?
It's the French. The French have a word called terroir, which is it's a mixture of the soil, the climate, the aspect, the people. It's everything. But we have a winter rainfall here, so we're Mediterranean climate. So that's why you'll see everything looking brown, except where we're irrigating. And our rain will be coming hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll get some rain. But it's summers are hot and dry, winters are wet. Not that cold. We get snow on the mountain. That's the Simonsberg mountain. My mother said I wasn't named after the mountain, but I don't know. And so it never gets below about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius here. So we never get really cold, and we don't get frost. But it's the winter rainfall. That's the big thing.
So I mean, does that make the wine special? Does it make it different from other things?
The problem with summer, I've got friends who up in Durban are growing grapes, but that's summer rainfall. So you don't want rain in summer, because what happens is the fruit rots. So when you get rain into the grapes, and that's why this harvest has been so good, because it's been so dry, you don't get the grapes rotting. So you want as little rain during the summer months when the grapes are growing. I do believe somebody was growing grapes up in Central Africa and getting 2 harvests a year. I read somewhere we only get 1.
A little rain.
Yeah. So, but you rot. The fruit rots.
Yeah, that's what a little rain, which rains all year round.
Yeah. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem. But what we're trying to do with these canopies, and you'll see it almost looks like a solar panel, is we're trying to get as much sun, and you'll see this afternoon the sun will be on this side. So we get morning sun on one side, afternoon sun on the other side. And really what we're doing is we are capturing the sunlight and making it into wine. So it's really to get, because if some of the vineyards travel this way, where you'll get one side shaded and one side in the sun, it works, but it's not as good as having the morning sun one side and afternoon sun. So we really, that's why we try and we train them up as much as. We've got about 120 hectares of vineyard. There are about 3,500 vines a hectare. So it keeps me busy. But it's, and you can see I'm relaxed. I've got a great team. My team is absolutely amazing. I'll go anywhere with them.
How old is the oldest vine?
The oldest vine's right at the top of this vineyard, and they last about 30 years, but that vineyard was planted about 1988. So 30 years, and the reason why they don't last as long as the French vines is we don't have that cold winter. So the vines don't go to sleep properly in winter. They don't go into dormancy properly. They go dormant, but not properly. So.
And since you've grown up here, maybe you can share, has the taste profile of your wines changed over the years?
Yes, it has. Yeah, no, it has definitely. What was very, very for us, what is exciting is before Nelson Mandela was released, we had sanctions. We couldn't export our wine. We were small. I mean, we were very small. We used to do maybe 3,000 to 4,000 cases a year. We do maybe 50,000 bottles a year maximum. We're up to 1 million bottles now. So sanctions being lifted. Also, we thought we were doing great things because we weren't allowed to go and see what was happening in the rest of the world. So we thought we were wonderful, but we actually weren't. And since, I mean, like my son studying in Australia during apartheid, he'd never had that opportunity. You just couldn't go and study abroad. And what happened with that is we got very inward in the wines we produced and how we produced them, and they were quite acidic and they were hard to drink. Whereas now we've got more fruity wines, and when you get back and you then deserve a drink, you'll find that they're more fruity, they're more accessible. They are dry. We make dry wines because only about 15-20% of our wine is sold in Africa. We're slowly moving into Africa, which is very exciting. Murray's going to Mozambique this next weekend. I'm going to Botswana middle of May. We've got to get to Angola. We've got to get up north Kenya. I've got a lot of friends in Kenya.
Kenyans.
We have an annual wine festival in Uganda, which is South African wine festival. Last year we had about 30 wineries there. Just wonder if you should give it.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I love going to Africa.
It's an audio thing happens every year.
Every other
Because we're going in with we've sort of backed our local distributors called Vinimark, and we're going into Africa with Vinimark. We're in the UK, Switzerland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, USA. USA is growing for us. We're just going into Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong. We're going to China through Hong Kong. We think it's safer going to China through Hong Kong. China's just such a huge market, and also unknown territory. I mean, I was very lucky. I had a wish. One of my bucket wishes was to go down the Yangtze, and I took the family down the Yangtze. I did it about a year before the dam started filling, and we ended up in a city called, I think it was Chongqing. And it's the biggest municipality in the world. Then it was 32 million people in the municipality. It's most probably bigger now. And I had a guy arriving here and saying, I want to import your wines into Chongqing. I said, I've been there. He said, I don't believe you. I said, I have. And he took one shipment in and then disappeared. He paid us. They paid, so it wasn't a problem. And then I thought, now how am I going to find him? 32 million people, I'm never going to find him. So that's why we decided we'd go. So Japan, picking up, so it's exciting times. It's exciting times. And what is so exciting for me is seeing you guys coming to South Africa. South Africa's always been that funny country on the end of Africa. With all
the berries. The John X Merriman is a Bordeaux blend, which means we use 5 different grapes. We use Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, and Malbec. It's a wine that's been wooded for 20 months in French oak barrels. It's really a nice, full-bodied, balanced wine. I'm going to bring you the label now. Everybody got? Everybody got?
yeah.
So, there you go. So, John X Merriman, he used to stay in that house there. He used to own this estate for a while. And we just decided to name this wine after him. But this is a full-bodied red wine. So it gives you, this is the type of wine that I would suggest that you, once you've swirled it, just have a look at the legs. They call it the legs, but the wine that walks down the glass on the side. You will see that once you've done that, the spacing between the lines is almost even. That just means that this wine is perfectly balanced. The balance between the sugar content and the alcohol content is in balance. So it's not a over alcoholized wine, so it's not too strong, but it's also not too sweet. So the balance is just right between the sugar and the alcohol. And once you've smelled it, you get a lot of fantastic aromas. It almost smells like, for me, like a cigar box. Cigar box or leather. You know, genuine leather, the real smell of genuine leather. You sometimes get that. So the reason we're making a Bordeaux style blend is that Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot in particular does very well on the estate. It grows very well, it performs very well, we get very nice grapes every harvest from it. So we decided to make a blend of it. If you want to make a Bordeaux style blend, you have to have at least 3 of the 5 grapes that I've just mentioned in the blend. But it's usually Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. It's usually the base of the blend. Some people say, I mean, in this, there's only 2% Petit Verdot, 3% Cabernet Franc, and 4% Malbec. So people say, but does 2, 3, and 4% really make a difference?
Yeah.
It does. If you have 20,000 liters and you have 4% Cabernet Franc, it makes a difference. It gives different flavor to the wine. What we do with this is Cabernet Sauvignon is a very strong grape, so it gives you the backbone of this blend, and it's a wine that you can keep for a very long time. So it's got very nice aging possibilities. Merlot is in general a softer style red wine, so that gives you the smoothness in the wine with the Merlot. The Cabernet Franc has very high tannins in the grape, and tannins is something that you need to be able to age wine for a long time. The Petit Verdot is a very dark-skinned grape. If you think that Cabernet Sauvignon grape is dark, you must see the Petit Verdot grape is almost like the cameras. It's almost black. It's a very, very dark grape. And then the Malbec gives you a bit of spiciness, a bit of peppery spiciness to the blend. And all those 5 components form this blend. And it makes for a really, really nice wine. It's a really nice wine. It performs well every year. And Shiraz is exactly the same. Syrah is the... just to give you a quick explanation of the name, the buzzard is a type of bird, a bird of prey that we get on the farm. It's a bit smaller than the eagle, the buzzard, but it comes from this specific area on the estate where we grow these grapes. And the kloof on the name, oh sorry, oh my goodness. I'm going to get a valley, a little ravine. So we've got the 2 areas on this estate where this wine comes from. I just quickly want to get some more of that here. The opportunity to age very well. It's strong, eh? We've opened up a bottle of this the other day, 2008 vintage. This is the 2011, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It's such a nice wine. We had it with some steak, and it was just absolutely great. You get that nice rich steak flavor, but you get that wine aftertaste. It's just phenomenal. So I just want to take this back quickly pour you the sweet wine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. This one. It will taste the same. Okay, so this sweet wine, it's called straw wine. Yeah, chuck it on the grass loves it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so for you, wine to use with cheese and biscuits after dinner.
With everything.
Or you can pour this over the vanilla ice cream. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Whatever wine it is, it's amazing.
Vanilla ice cream, yeah.
Sound like it.
Now, if you guys really are phones, one of you distracted the other gets the bottle. That's what I'm saying.
You want the bottle?
I had a plan.
That you want. But at night time, the berries must rest. So at night time, it cools down quite a lot. Usually there's a breeze going through the vineyards, and that's absolutely perfect for Sauvignon Blanc. It's a nice, fresh and crisp wine. If you smell it, you'll get aromas of. I mean, obviously you can pick up any aroma that your brain is familiar with, but it's very, very Usually what we pick up is gooseberries and then asparagus is the type of smells that we pick up. But don't worry too much about the smell. We always say you never snort wine. You never sniff the wine through your nose. That's not how you drink it. You drink it through the mouth. So it's all important what you think of the wine when you taste it. So when you taste it, oh, nice. Just a fresh and crisp Sauvignon Blanc. It's a wine you can use with light meals, salads or chicken is perfect with this, or maybe soup. But it's also a great wine. After work, you get home,
Drinking, not tasting.
you throw your wallet and your keys there. You go to the fridge, you take out a bottle, you open it, and you start to drink this wine. It's just a lovely wine to have after work. It's not Cabernet Sauvignon. This is
Cabernet Blanc?
no.
No,
This is this one. This Cabernet Sauvignon
Yeah.
is
And they
the
say
father
it's oaky.
of that
Then
one.
you can taste the oaky, woody type
The Sauvignon
of
Blanc.
taste. Some of them taste fruity.
No,
That one.
no.
This
Hundreds of
one,
years ago they did
I think it's
the
oaky.
region originally. It's a grape that Rustenberg in particular does very well with. Through the years we've created some lovely Chardonnay grapes, some lovely Chardonnay wine. There's a saying in the industry that you can only make good wine from good grapes. So you can make high quality wine with high quality grapes. I know it sounds obvious and that it makes sense, but sometimes people think they can take lower quality wine of grapes and make a high quality wine. You can't. So we're very lucky. We get good rainfall in here. So this Chardonnay comes from various areas on the estate. So we get some of them is in the mountain, some on the foothills, and some on the flat areas. So the combination of that is what we've put in here. It's been wooded for 12 months. So it means that we put the grapes through the fermentation process, and then we take that fermented wine and we put it into French oak barrels for 1 year. So we put this in the wood for 1 year. We call it. We say that the wine is wooded. So this is a lovely wine. We try to create a balance so that you still get the flavor of the grape, but you've got that nice woody, creamy texture on the aftertaste that you get.
Maybe we should